Hello folks, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. So, the secrets of the energy field. As I was logging on to do this video, I got a little download of words which were the energy field is responsible for our health, wealth, and well-being. And it kind of stands to reason, doesn't it? Because if you think of the energy field as a protective shell around the body, around the energy, if that's damaged, if it's contaminated, if it's under attack, if it's feeling low and weakened, then that's going to affect those aspects, our health, our wealth, and our well-being, and also our spiritual path as well. Um, the energy field is such a complex subject that we could actually do video after video after video of it. And we can talk and talk and talk about it till the cows come home. Um, the energy field is a vital part of us. You know, we wash every day, we shower every day, bath every day. Um, we change our clothes, we change hair, we change makeup, and all of that kind of stuff. But unless you're really on a spiritual path, and even then it can be neglected, we don't really think too much about the energy field, about the impact what we're watching, reading, talking about, thinking about, playing in, eating, drinking, taking can have on us. Um, when we put ourselves into stressful situations, toxic situations, where other people are talking crack about us or they're hating on us, that affects the energy field. And sometimes we know that this isn't the space for me, but we still go in there. Um, we don't think about the impact that the traumas that we go through in life, including illness, stress, anxiety, abuse, can have on the energy field. And the truth is that the energy field can repair itself, but it needs our attention to repair itself. It needs us to at least acknowledge it's there. It needs us to at least try to make a difference. Also, as well, when we start on our spiritual path, tarot path, psychic path, whatever you want to call it, you'll be surprised at the amount of people that will jump straight into card reading without any kind of spiritual protection. It won't even come into their mind. Or doing seances and that type of thing, or going into big old houses, going into haunted houses, watching ghost stories, reading ghost stories, all of that kind of thing, watching ghost stories, watching ghost films, horror films. You know, our bodies pick up sweat, debris, shed skin, and we clean it off at least once a day. The energy field is the same. You know, and we know that there's some simple tools that can help with that, like saging, things like agua de Florida. I'm pointing because mine's there, agua de Florida water, which is a shamanic protection water. Crystals, salts, certain salts can do it, coarse sea salt, Himalayan salt. You may use oils, etc. You may use color, you may use light, you may use intention, sound, like clapping, drumming, rain sound, meditation music, the woods as well, the woods, nature, the sea. The sea is so important, even if it's just a paddle. Um, so there's so many things at our fingertips that we can do for the energy field. But I've got a feeling that the energy field can also do so much more than we give it credit for. One of the things I was shown earlier was that the energy field also has access to the ancient records of our life and of the land in which we're born onto, which is this. Um, and like our consciousness is cleared at the time of birth, and it's about re-remembering, so is the energy field at the time of birth, that these portals that we have within our energy field, these gateways, until we become spiritually mature enough to handle it correctly and properly, they are asleep. Um, you know the Glastonbury video I did, Glastonbury tours a few weeks ago. I can't remember if I mentioned this in the video. But one of you also put a comment about, I think Glastonbury meant a lot to you, and you said not to be fooled by the fact that it is what it is now. It's very commercialized around there, especially the high street, that it's actually shielded because there's so much power there. And that's a bit like Stonehenge. These places hold so much power, and we are so spiritually immature and emotionally immature at the minute that if those grids came back on again, they could be there's no cut about it. They would be misused. So it's the same for these energy fields that we have. Our ancient ancestors, think of it, the druids, the shamans, going back even further, different realities like Babylon, Atlantis, etc. They would have been able to do so much more with the energy field than we could even dream of possible. Um, as the time of reading this, this is the day before the eclipse, the solar eclipse, and each stage we've been through this year has been truly, profoundly upgrading. Listen, I have never known anything like this year. It's been huge. Consequently, a lot of stuff has come up. So at the time of filming this, right now we are going through so many transformations, and it's going to look very different for each person, but also there's going to be similarities. And I genuinely believe that the energy fields are also being upgraded. What we can do with the energy field is being upgraded. What we're allowed to be shown with the energy field is also being upgraded. Also, as well, our connection to other lifetimes that we're living right now. I had an experience. Shall I share the experience? Because I'm thinking about it as I'm talking about it. It's coming into my brain. Shall I share the experience? Is there a point in sharing that experience in this video? Should we pull a card on it? Pull a card on it. See what card says about, because I mean, it just came into my mind then. Yeah, I'm being shown the energy field as a sponge, and the energy field can do things, and he's already doing things that we're not conscious of. But it's conscious of it, and it's fine. We're doing what we're doing. You carry on being you. The deep connection is coming back on grid, but it's going to come back on grid in its own time. So the connection between us, past lives, future lives, simultaneous lifetimes that we've got going on is being thread through your current energy field. Colour. Yeah, wellness. It's about wellness. The colour, the different colours of the energy field. Look at that. They do say the energy field can spread up to 30 feet. So when we're in a concert, or we're in the supermarket, or we're in the shopping mall, or we're in a soccer game, football, rugby, you're stood in amongst so many energy fields, and other people are in your energy field. When I found that out, I felt like quite ick. It made me feel really ick, and it was like, why would the energy field be able to do that where other people can come into it? And what I'm seeing is the fact that yes, they can be within it, but they can't truly access it. And that's the connection to all that is. We have to have that connection. So the energy field is vital for our connection to our fellow human. So if you're like me and when you heard that 30 feet, it's like, oh God. So I'm sat here now with my energy field. There's part of my energy field in my neighbour's house. Ooh. And vice versa. I don't want you to think about them being good or bad people, or awakened or not awakened. I want you to think about connection. And it's the same for the plants and the shrubs, etc., and the animals. Um, Part of our wellness that we're going through right now as well is going through deciphering the energy field, what it's picked up. Um, what it's absorbed, what it's allowed to come in, for it to be clean, for it to be healthy and safe for it to expand. What's this about it being healthy and safe to expand? Many people are shrinking into themselves because they don't feel safe in the world. And that's actually causing illness because they're shrinking their power. They're not allowing themselves to expand. They're not standing in their true authenticity. They're going out into places like shopping mall, supermarket, and they're going into, we've all done it, what am I feeling? And it's about being able to master the energy field, to be able to be at a rock concert and know that, yeah, there's someone stood right there to you, but you're in charge. You're in charge of this energy around you at all times. Um, I'm also, and I know that people have spoken about the chakras. We're getting new chakras, and we have been doing for quite some time. Um, Upgrades with the heart chakra. It's interesting. I'm being shown the fact that some things we're being allowed to remember, but some things are being cleansed where we're not going to remember them because it's stuff that really doesn't serve us to be aware of it. Does that make sense? There's stuff being cleared from the energy field that doesn't serve us to remember it. To have a healthy energy field, we also need to be living from the heart center. We need to be living from heart center at all times. If we can truly continuously step into the heart center, and people say, "Oh, I do it all the time." You'd be surprised at how we don't. You'd be surprised at how we don't. Um, that helps the energy field as well. I'm also being shown that people used to use the portals within their energy field to time travel. Time travel keeps coming up for me at the minute. Um, but we're used to seeing it via stone circles in Scotland. But actually, people used to use their energy field to time travel. People also use their energy field to send messages to each other. And many of you will be doing that, and many of you have done that, and you'll be doing it continuously. Um, have you ever, and that's good and bad, that's somebody sending you positivity, but also somebody sending you negativity. Um, the energy field, we can have things that are stored there that we don't want to look at. So we can shelve them within the energy field. The energy field is also at the minute really contaminated via the 3D force matrix of which we've been living in. Um, and that's via things we've been watching, listening to, being told, being programmed with, all of it. All the news, all the separation energy that's been continuously encouraged. That's had an impact, and that we're purging that as well. Many of you may be starting to feel really vulnerable when you go out. Like it's almost like, am I even dressed? But you know that you're dressed because you've got your clothes on. But it's a feeling of feeling quite vulnerable spiritually. And that's because our energy fields have been so heavy with the 3D densities that as we're starting to shift them off, we're starting to feel lighter. The energy field. Gaia, yes, and remembrance at the bottom of the deck. Gaia, Earth, being able to anchor in new codes, new ways of being, being able to anchor in the new version of us, um, remembering who we were, being able to remember and access these different portals within our energy field, remembering the importance of spiritual hygiene and cleansing. There's a lot of people out there that will say you don't need spiritual protection, and You do. The world we live in right now, you really do. That's like saying you don't need to wear clothes to go outside in. That's like saying you don't need to lock your door. There will come a time, possibly in the future, but it's not going to be at the minute. We need spiritual protection, um, because otherwise you leave yourself open, um, for vulnerabilities, and you leave yourself open for stuff that's not yours. Um, When we go through trauma, every time we go through a trauma, just to bring that in a bit, I might do. Um, when we go through, oh no, actually, that might shelve it. I'll bring it in a minute. I'm talking to myself now. When we go through trauma, say that's you. Okay, that's you. Beautiful you. And every time you go through a trauma or pain, you get a crack in the energy field. And illness, disease, divorce, heartbreak, debt, all of it, you get cracks. And then you get chunks taken out of you by a. So what happens is we start to have spaces within the energy field that needs to be full. And what happens is I call them external energies. External energies within the energy field go, oh, we've got someone there that we can just look at that. We can slip straight into that energy field because it's cracked, it's weakened. They like to drink. Um, they're sleeping around. They're in trauma. There's pain. There's disease, etc. The energy field is weakened by all that. By the way, when we sleep around, when we have alcohol, recreational drugs, medication can do it as well. Um, Trauma, pain, stress, financial stress, difficulty, all of it weakens the energy field. So that's another way that energies can come in. Now, energies could be entities. Yes, they do exist and they are real. It'd be stupid to think that they don't, but it's also other energies like people's pain, um, energies within homes, energies within land, collective energies. And this isn't just about being able to feel into the collective energy. This is about it coming in and making you feel ill. Um, So they can come in via different ways and they can latch on. And we don't realize it. But what happens is we're so used to living in a lowered state, we don't realize that we're going lower and lower and lower, that we're getting more and more anxious, that we're getting more and more stressed. Because all the body does is think, well, the body treats it as a virus. So it tries to fight it. Therefore, when people say to me, "Oh God, my mum's just died, and I've got a chain with her ashes in it, or I've got her ashes on the mantelpiece, or we've got her ashes in the garden, or I've had a bit of pillow made out of my dad's shirt." Honestly, ever say that to me, and I'll be speaking my truth, because that's the worst thing you can do. Because what happens is you keep an aspect of them, depending if it's the full aspect, if they've not been able to fully transition, or an aspect of them. And the body doesn't go, oh, it's okay, it's only her mom, it's fine. What the body goes, there's a foreign energy in the energy field here. I need to react to let this person know there's something foreign. And this is another reason why so many people have anxiety, addiction. And it's so sad because you've got to then say to a client, the reason why you're like this is because your mum's energy is stuck to you. Um, why my mum won't do this to me? No, but your energy field doesn't, your body doesn't know that, your energy field doesn't know that. So it's a foreign energy. So see what I mean about there's so much here. Right. When I went off on a tangent and I said, shall I say that? What I was shown was, is it corporal punishment or physical punishment that parents use and school teachers used to dole out back in the olden days and possibly still do in some respects, in some places, in some families. Do you know every time a body is smacked, I didn't actually smack that crystal then, by the way. Every time a body is smacked, so especially if it's a child, it causes a judder. It causes a judder, and in some cases, boof, the spirit, the essence can jump out. And there's various ways that this can happen, there's various levels. It can really jump out, and it's really not going to be in that body again until someone comes along and gives that some healing, or it's still corded up, it's still corded up. And as I was getting it and being told to bring it through in the video, I was thinking about A generation, and I'm thinking about generations because of the generation videos that I'm doing. So would it be boomer? Possibly as well, generation. Ah, I did it all yesterday. Generation X. So you'll be in your 50s, late 40s, 50s, and into the silent generation, which would be 80s and 90s, where this type of punishment was given out. There is an issue in that generation, especially the older that you get, of parents via sessions hearing this and via talking to other people of certain people's parents going into being cold, being distracted, not being present, being quite not present. Okay, cold, present, possibly narcissistic. One of the reasons for that could be corporal punishment if they've had it in schools, if they've had it via parents. I mean, I have to watch what I say on YouTube, but like the belt and stuff like that, there's all those stories. What was it? Spare the rod, ruin the child, or something. Um, so there's a generation of people in the world that have been brought up like that, where that was the norm, and it's only recently that people have started to question that. Um, and the more that child is in that environment where they're continuously, and also the fear of that. Those of you who grew up, maybe um, your dad's grandfathers came back from war with PTSD. That's only starting to get spoken about now, where dads have come back from World War Two. I mean, none of you'll be alive from World War One unless you're time traveling, and if you are, hello and welcome. Anyone from the Titanic watching? Shut up, Claire. Um, they would have come back very. It wasn't all like books can make it out. It was a very tragic time where men came back changed, and that is still running through family lines right now. So you've got that. But you may be sat there thinking, I never got brought up like that. But what if your mum did? What if your dad did? And we know things follow down, programming follow down, and guess what? It'll be in your energy field. Have you ever been watching something violent or something come on and tell you, and you start to feel it? We can feel so much. I mean, what is it they say? We've been in the womb of our grandmothers and great grandmothers, and I think it goes on even further back than that. So our energy fields have taken on a lot, haven't they? They've taken on a lot. But the energy field is also an amazing thing that still shows up for us, but we must remember to show up for it. Why is this past? Right, let me share it with you. As I'm waffling on about it, it might make sense. Right. You may have noticed there's no eye makeup on. You may have noticed there's a swollen eye. Um, this is a story of how that happened. A couple of nights ago, I started getting these visions. Wait with me, bear with me, this does lead somewhere, of my mum's old baby box where she used to keep nappies and stuff, terry towel and nappies and all that kind of stuff. Sort of talking 80s, and I'm like, why am I seeing this? And the next clip I got was of me. No, it wasn't of me. I didn't see it of me at first, of a woman in when I say old fashioned, I mean 20 years old toilet, baby changing area, changing a baby. And I'm observing this woman, and this started to happen as I'm in this crazy space. I keep going to on a night where I'm not asleep, but I'm not awake. And I'm looking at this woman, and this woman hears an almighty bang, and I mean a boof, and looks out. She's in a building, but there's also another building next to her that has a plane sticking out the top. Oh no, it's a twin towers, and I'm like, God. And I'm watching this like a movie. It's like screen in front of me, and I'm like, oh God, she's got a baby. She's in the twin towers. Oh my God, is that the first plane? Is that the first? What the hell's going on? But the woman goes into so much fear. She doesn't want, and I'm like in my head going, get out the tower, get out the tower, get out the tower, because we know, don't we, that there's an issue anyway. Move on. Um, we know there's issues within that tower. I'm like, get out of that tower. But she thinks in her head, I have to stay here because there's a war going on out there. I was actually able to feel what it would have felt like, and it felt horrible. And I'm like, run, run, run. Anyway, I was then shown another clip of her older, and she was in what I call the American house, where it's a wooden house and she's on a balcony, veranda. Would you call it a veranda? But there's a sadness about her. And I'm like, she must have survived. She did eventually get out of that building and run. And I'm getting chills talking about it. The baby survived, but the baby did become asthmatic because I was shown something around the baby's chest. Because I know from when I visited the Twin Towers place, I had a reaction there. Those of you that saw the video where my mouth went really dry and throat, and there was no saliva. And one of you at the time said when they fell and the dust got into the throat and the lungs and the throat and everything and the mouth, it was bone dry. So the same would have happened to the baby. Awful, isn't it? So she got out, and then I'm like, what was that? What have I just seen? Like a psychic premonition or something? And I was shown that it was an alternate life for me. And I was like, oh my God. I remember when it happened, and I remember being truly affected by it, but I think everybody was. Anyway, was that the the same day that I ended up with an awful itch on the top of like I was scratching. I don't know. Honestly, it was freaky. That that morning when I woke up and I was like, God, I feel like I've been punched in the face. I've never been punched in the face, by the way, but I felt like I'd been punched in the face. And I thought, God, my eyes feel weird, like blurry. And I looked in the mirror and it looked like I'd been kicked in the face. Literally, especially this one, like boom. And again, as I've been sat with it and I've been meditating, journeying with it, each more clips have come forward. And her husband was working in the Twin Towers. She'd been to see him for breakfast or something with the baby. It was something like that. And I think he ended up being in there, and I think he went with the tower. Um, a big part of my spiritual awakening happened on honeymoon. You'll all have seen the video, won't you? Where I said it all started happening for me in New York. Boom. At Crown Chakra, Third Eye, everything. Outside John Lennon's house, Dakota building it was in Strawberry Fields, and then in the Ground Zero place. So, and I'm like, whoa. And it was almost like I could feel the energy pulsing. So the connection. So that will have been in my energy field for a while, but I've not been able to tap into it. I've not been able to connect to it because it's not been the right time. I felt niggles and I felt strange things. Then I was reminded of an issue I do have, and yeah, it's not funny, but I regularly dream of at least one plane in the sky coming down to a building where I'm at. It's horrible. I've not had it for a while. Um, and it's that bad that if I if I'm hanging the washing out and I see a plane go over, I have to really watch it to make sure it goes. I can't even watch things like that in films. Can't watch planes coming down in films at all. Um, just can't do it. And we live near some airfields in Lincolnshire, and they play about something chronic, not all the time, but it's like Mavericks and Top Gun round here at times. Woo, woo, all the time. It's horrible. Gets me right on edge. It does, and I've been known to actually my legs to go. So I was reminded of those dreams I've had that I've not been able to make sense of. That fear of a plane coming down is horrific. It's horrific in these dreams for me. And it can be quite disturbing when it happens. And again, I've not been able to understand, oh, it's just a dream. Um, but it's been my energy field pulsating out to be able to pick up that information. And, take this to the next level. We're doing that all the time without even realizing it. We're doing that with past lives when we go into an old house and we start to feel things and sense things, or you're looking through a history book and you see a certain name and it brings up all this emotion, or you're watching historical fiction or reading a bit of Philippa Gregory, and up it all comes up. When we can go visit old houses and see them as they were, when they're not actually like that. So we're doing so much at the minute without even realizing it. So why was I meant to mention that? See, I'm being shown the energy field as a computer, an energetic computer that's got all these files in, um, buttons, access routes to everything, to everything. And a big part of what we're do and a big part of what we're doing is sending whispers across to each other. When you're ready, you'll start to see your alternate lives. Alternate lives, by the way, are let's say this is soul. Boom. The soul breaks off and goes off into fragments. So time is not linear. So you don't go back and stay over there for 200 years and come back. You continuously on your journeys. Okay. So that's your big essence. That's call it your higher self. Boom. And it comes back and it goes off into different pieces. And one of that piece goes off and becomes Barbara. One piece off goes off and becomes, I don't know, Timothy. One piece goes off and gets born in 1980. One piece gets broke off and gets born in 1985. And they're all out there, living their different lives, different bodies, different realities, but their essence is the same as yours. And you're all communicating with each other and showing up for each other in ways that you don't even understand. And it's getting more and more prominent as we go on and as we go through this ascension process. Grounding. Yeah, the new earth energy is coming in. So as we go through all of these portals, eclipses, full moons, new moons, solstices, we need to be more aware of what's going on within the energy field and we need to make sure that it's clean and that we're accountable with it. And this can be really hard when sometimes you just want to sit at home, kick your shoes off and watch, I don't know, something that's going to have an effect on your energy field. Could be the news. People do relax to the news. It could be something else. It could be um sporting event. Anyway, we need to be aware of it. Not aware is in even like certain music. I used to be one of those that used to blast music out when I was cleaning. Like literally in our old house. Bang, boom, 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 boom when I was cleaning. I can't listen to a lot of music now. It's all podcasts and stuff like that for me. Because I'm so aware that I can listen to certain entertainers who shall not be named, some Voldemorts in the world, they make me ill. Gaia again, and the transition that we're going through, the transition, Gaia, and grounded in these new energies. So when you have your experience like I did, we don't go, oh, what's that? We go, I know what that is. And we're able to help ourselves through it. We're able to process it and go, okay, then, not push it down, deny it. That's just a dream. To understand that the more that we can connect to the energy field, the more that we can be present with the energy field, the more that we can go through with the energy field, if that makes sense. Um, I'm being shown the Akshayat records, but the Akshayat records is also in your energy field as well. So yeah, tangent time. That's why I've not got makeup on. It's bizarre, isn't it? To see what it reminded me of. Have you we're off on a tangent. Have, have you read the what's it called? Lady of Hay by Barbara Erskine's, where she gets hypnotized that the protagonist into her past lives, and every time she does, she comes out with injuries. This is what this reminded me of. And that's how real it can be because I'm not one that I've had the watery eyes, but I know what that is. And I've rectified that to a very good extent, may I add. But I'm not one that suffers with the eyes. But if you think if I'd have been dust bombed and had all that grief and pain and been caught up in that in a different reality of I would have woken up the next day if I'd have even slept with eyes like that, swollen, sore. I mean, unbelievable. Like I always say, you can't make this stuff up. So let's have a card away from Claire's controversies about the energy field. The energy field. What does the energy field want to say to us now? Oh, I've got a mark on my card. Allowance. Heart chakra. What was I saying about the heart chakra? Allowance and the heart chakra, the green ray. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way without judgment. What did I just say about the experience with the past lives, ongoing lives? Without opinions, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. So, allowing us to go on this journey, everything that we've experienced. So, not sat there going, God, I used to drink really heavily. Oh my God, I've had lots of trauma. Oh my God, my energy field must be really disturbed. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Allowing it, allowing things to happen. Not allowing things to happen in your life where you're allowing trauma to happen, but allowing this growth to coming, allowing yourself to see the wisdom in all the situations that come up. So you could be sat in pain right now, physical pain, mental pain, spiritual pain, emotional pain. Allow yourself to see the wisdom in all of that because there will be wisdom with that. Don't just see it as I'm in pain. Oh, I'm in depression. Oh, I'm in anxiety. Oh, I'm spiritually in pain. It's a teacher. Everything that we go through is a teacher. Sometimes you can have a really bad accident that teaches you that, do you know what? I used to moan about this. But at least back then I could wipe my own bum. Whereas now I've broke my arm and I can't. Or I've had an accident and I've lost the use of my legs for some time. It's actually teaching you the beauty of what we have. We live in a false matrix, yada, 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 etc., 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 where we're told to go, 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 hit the ground running and all of that, which is all fake teaching. We haven't been taught about sacred, simple things, how sacred and simple it is to pick up a bottle and take the lid off, how simple and sacred it is to buy a jar of jam and be able to take the lid off, get a knife and spread it on your bread. What it is to go out and say, do you know what? I'm going to go and meet a friend and walk to meet the friend, or get in your wheelchair and roll to meet. Yeah, it would be roll, wouldn't it? Wheel to meet your friend. So no matter what we're going through, even if you're going through anxiety and you're sat there like rattling, that is still your greatest teacher because actually anxiety is teaching you to really care for yourself. It's teaching you to come back home to yourself, to teach yourself boundaries. I know when I went through a period of horrific panic attacks when I was going through all my police stuff, not police stuff against me, police stuff against somebody else. I just didn't want to go out, but I had to force myself. So I'd go out to Asda or something like, which is a shopping centre, Walmart, I think it's called in the States. Um, and I'd have safe space. I'd have safe spaces that I knew were safe spaces. So book aisle was a safe space. The cafe was a safe space. The door was a safe space. The outside the door was the safe space. And I knew, and as I got stronger, I knew that not only were there safe spaces around me, but the safe space was here. That at any time I was in charge. And that it was just feelings going through my body, that my body was having to release feelings in the way that a body does, and that can sadly be anxiety. Um, wow. The energy field now, the energy field now, the energy field. What's the energy field now, as it is now, want to say to us? So before I read this card, oh, I can't make it up. Allowance and heart chakra. So allowing yourself to go through your ascension process and your awakening process, lovingly, compassionately, patiently, allowing yourself to go through this process of healing, allowing the energy field to heal, and keeping our focus on the path. We're all guilty of this, scrolling, TikTok. Um, if you're going to go on social media, make sure that you go on social media in a way that betters your life, that everyone you follow, watch, partake in is someone that fulfills your life. That's how you alchemize social media. If we're going on and we're just doom scrolling or following any old trash, that affects our energy field. Keeping our focus, not allowing the global stuff or nonsense to drag us into it. We've all been there, done that, got the t-shirt, wore the hat. It doesn't serve us at all. Staying in the heart center. You know, the old world is crumbling. So if we get too focused in all the stuff and nonsense of the world, it's going. It's going. When it finally happens, who knows how it looks like, who knows, but it's going. What isn't going is your consciousness is not going. And how it evolves is up to us. Right. So let's pull a card or two cards for the energy field of the future. What does the energy field of the future want to say to us? What does the energy field of the future want to say to us? Hmm, magic, conception, which is creation. It's gonna keep going, and you know these upgrades and energy upgrades, where they're just gonna keep rolling. It's gonna keep going. Let's read it with blurry eyes. Swollen eyes. Get me some steak for these eyes. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond the moment, to move forward, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. So believing and it can happen, but also allowing it to have time as well. So the energy field of the future gets better and better and better and more stronger. Also, as well, the energy field is responsible for our spiritual abilities and psychic abilities. If we've absorbed a lot of stuff, then your information will be heavy. It will be you'll only be able to see the entities amongst us. You'll only be able to see the badness in situations. You won't be able to see the goodness. And when I say to you, every situation on this planet has light in it as well as dark, you'll be surprised at the amount of people that say there's no light in that, it's war. But there will be light in it. And that's how you can tell there's something wrong with the filter, with the energy field. Or when you perceive people as goodies and baddies, they're bad, that's it, blah, blah, and they're the goodies because it doesn't work like that. So, energy field of the future. And it stands to reason because if you think all the information that you get, whoops, that you channel has to come through the dirt that we absorb, soul song, freedom, and soul writing. Look at those cards, how different it is from where we are now, which is just allow this process, love yourself through it to huge expansion. The energy field will look so different in the future. We're already getting new chakras within us. I'm also hearing that a lot of chakras will die away. We'll be getting new ones, new portals coming in, new access portals, getting our wings. And being more in charge of our destiny. So less of this current energy that we have of, am I going to get some money? Am I going to get this job? Am I going to get somebody? Am I going to have a baby? That we're not going to be doing that in the future. That's 3D. And people may get triggered when I say that, but honestly, that's 3D. The days of going, is this going to happen to me? Is this going to change? The alchemists that we are becoming for the future, We're not going to be asking those questions. We're going to be navigating and alchemizing and manifesting and creating. We already have been, but we've been doing it in a dense 3D energy and we've been creating chaos, external chaos and internal chaos. So, oh God, I'm doing my old trick of making sure I'm actually, God, how long have I been on for? Um, I've actually recorded. I get freaked out with this. Um, so freaked out with recording on a laptop and freaked out with planes and skies. Um, yes. So the next group healing is an energy field cleanse and upgrade. It's going to be 8th and 9th of October 2024. And after doing this reading, look at these cards and having this session with you guys, it brings in a deeper meaning to that group healing of just where we are as a collective, as a society, as humans, and what we need from that group healing. The clearance. Do you know what I say? I'm not clearing the stories, but what I'm being shown is we're clearing the stories around the stories. So let me word it better. I'm going to be, me and the guides are going to be clearing the stories around the events. So, say if you've gone through a bereavement, a divorce, a breakup, you've lost a child, that'll be an event of which many stories will be around that event that you've told yourself. There'll be loads of them, be full of stories. The events will stay there because they are part of who you are, but you'll be required to look at the stories as they're cleansing. And it wouldn't surprise me if you don't go through it and go, God, why was I fearing that? Or why was I so fearful of him? You know, the ex-husband or whatever, or ex-wife or the boss. Because actually, there's nothing to fear. Because I'm going. Do you know what I mean by that? And it's about allowing these upgrades to go in to get us ready for the up and coming solstice, whether it's summer or winter for you. This year, astrologically, energetically, has been huge, but it's brought up a lot of baggage that feels like it needs to be scooped away. You know, like the scum at the top of a bath, or when you do a super summit, it gets that scum and you clear it out. It just needs to clear out, then we can breathe and get on with it. Also, as well, healing after addiction, if there's any addiction energy within there, damage from being over drinking, because every time we drink alcohol, it reduces the energy field. Recreational drugs, medication, certain medications. When we go to when we go to the dentist, that affects our energy field. If we've had surgery, that affects our energy field. When we've had a baby, that affects our energy field. When we've had an accident, a car accident affects our energy field. So all of these are pressing on. So it's about releasing that, rebalancing that, having a healthy relationship with that. How does it sound to you? And allowing upgrades to come in, allowing rebalance to come in, allowing more clarity to come in, where you can then, after those 2 days, take yourself off with your new energy field and start making better choices without carrying the ball and chain with you. So that's the next group healing, which is 8th and 9th of October. £22 for 2 days distance channeled healing. There are no links, there are no lives. It's not obtrusive where you or intrusive, where you've got to sit down at a certain time. You go about your day as normal whilst receiving the energy. Doesn't matter if you're asleep whilst I'm channeling. That does not matter. Doesn't matter. Some people choose to have the day off. Some people choose to work through it. If you go onto my website, which you'll have to do, there is some posts, pre-session instructions there in relation to what to eat and what not to eat, as in, you mustn't be pregnant to do this group healing. And healing doesn't affect the baby, by the way. It's just, guess what? If your client lost their baby during a session with you or just after, the messed up matrix that we have will come for you or me, the healer, rather than go towards other things that have been happening. So there you go. That's how the situation works at the minute. No alcohol, no sex, masturbation. I hope I get monetized for this video. Only joking. That's how it's getting. Why? Because that opens your energy field up. So we don't want all that, an exchange in energy. But you're allowed to cuddle your kids. You're allowed to cuddle your partner. You don't, because I get some questions about, oh, can't I do this? Can't I do that? It's fine. Everything you need to know is on the group healing tab. You can read through that. Um, I'll come on here to do a daily video where we'll pull some cards. I'll chat about what I felt. You can comment in the comment section, build up a bit of community. Okay. To take part to take part in that group healing, you go to the pinned comment and the description box beneath this video, and it will say, you scroll down a little bit and it will say group healing, energy field group healing, the date. For more information, watch this video. That's another video I did a few weeks ago. Feel free to watch that. To take part, click on this link. If you go even further and end up going into the homepage of the website, no worries. You go into the homepage, services, group healing, and boom. Okay. That's how it does. That's how it happens. Don't put anybody down on this group healing that you've not asked their permission. And if you ask someone's permission, they say no, don't bug them. Never, ever, ever book healing for somebody else without their permission, because it's classed as cursing. You're asking someone to go into someone's energy field without their permission, and there will be a reaction from that. It does happen. People do it. And I don't know why, because it's so intrusive. It's untrue. Anyway, hmm, energy field video done. Thank you for watching. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like I've said, we have only just scraped the surface with this. It's vast. And I think as we go through this evolution, it's going to get more and more vast, and there's going to be more information available to us. Don't try to rush this. Don't try to win the race. Just go with the flow. And thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Put your name down for the group healing, and which is next week at the time of filming. I'm going to put this video in the playlist called Shamanic Wisdom or something. So if you've liked this video, because I try and keep my videos informal as I can. I'm friendly, like friends having a chat over coffee, rather than getting all too formal with everybody. Um, I've done the same with those videos. So we talk about big things, but in an informal way. Anyway, bye for now. Your tarot scopes are all out for October, by the way, as well. So get those watched. Make sure you've watched those. Um, and there's a channeling coming this week, and that's all I'll say. Anyway, I'm off to go and dab my reactions. It's freaky though, isn't it? Anyway, I will see you in the next one. I tell you what I have learned. I don't need as much eye makeup on. I don't think I do anyway. I've not got any foundation on the eyes. I've got foundation on the face. But I think once it goes down and it's healed fully, I think I'll only put foundation on the eyes rather than eyeliner and all of that kind of stuff, mascara, eyeshadow. Bye for now.